y'all, welcome back to another episode of Outside the Box with me, Mary Hooks. Listen, I'm super excited to be here with another episode for y'all. This is the second episode, and today I want to jump right in because I want to talk about how your environment will affect your mood. And listen, if y'all follow me on TikTok, y'all know I did like a short clip of this, but I thought it would be really good to like go deeper into this topic. I can always tell when it's time for me to clean up. And how I can always tell is because my mood begins to change. Like clutter just does something to the mind. Have you ever noticed that you become more irritable, maybe a little more frustrated or just annoyed? If you're creative, it may be hard for you to create when your environment becomes very cluttered, when your environment just gets a little bit chaotic, and it happens, guys, it happens. For my moms, we can all relate to this. Like, listen, the house get a little junky, especially that Monday through Friday where the kids are in school and they're coming home, they're throwing their stuff down on the floor, they ready for their dinner, okay? Then don't even get me started if they have after school any kind of after school practices. If they're doing any kind of sports and stuff like that, things just get so chaotic and we just lay stuff down and we forget to put things away, or we're just in that groove of the day-to-day life, and so things can get a bit chaotic. So for me, like, things get messy around the house during the week. However, I had made a TikTok talking about like and I was filming myself cleaning up my room or whatever, and I was just saying like, I can tell when it's time to clean up because I can't think straight. Like, do anybody else have that problem? Do anybody else, I would say, suffer with that when it's like, man, I can't think. Like, it's becoming too much because my environment is not allowing me the space to be able to think and create. Is that anybody else's testimony? Can anybody else testify and say, hey girl, I'm with you? I can relate to that. But it is so important. It's so important that we keep our environment clean. Mood can be better so we can think clearer, so we can become more focused. So if God have you in a space where you are creating like he does me, you're able to just flow and think clearer and to get more downloads and revelations because your environment is clean. It is so crazy how we are designed. Like, our environment really does affect our mind. Our environment really does affect our focus. And so a TikToker had comment on one of my videos, and she said that when your mind is a mess, so is everything around you. And I'm like, yeah, I noticed that too. Like, so not only is it time to clean up when the house begins to be a mess because you feel like you create or feel like you can't create. However, when your mind is a mess, so is everything around you. And it's just so wild to me, like how, if our mind is chaotic and confused, then we'll start to see our home become very cluttered. We will start to see our home become very disorganized because of the chaos that is going on in our mind. And so this is just really what I want to slow down on this podcast and really just talk about, like, people that suffer from depression. I would say, I hear a lot of people say, Christians and people, oh, you don't have depression. Depression is not a thing. Don't claim that over your life. No, we don't claim those things over our life, but we have to understand that anytime you are not in your regular headspace, anytime you are not as excited as you were, as in, you're not as enthusiastic as you were, you're dealing with a lot of things, maybe you're overwhelmed by a life circumstance that you feel like you have no power to change, or something's just weighing heavy on your heart. That is depression. That is depression because you're overthinking that thing. You're constantly thinking, oh my goodness, how do I change this? Oh my goodness, I feel like I can't change this. Oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do? And of course we take it to God in prayer and all of that stuff, but we just can't be oblivious to the fact that, depression is something that can come over us. And so I would like to say, when people suffer from depression, it's a lot going on in their mind. They feel overwhelmed with whatever situation they're dealing with. So their environment will start to display the clutter and the chaos. I'm getting tongue-tied. their environment will begin to display the clutter and the chaos that's going on in their mind. And so, to my TikTok girl, if you made that comment, listen, your comment really just made me understand and helped me to understand clearer, because I have noticed that, like, yeah, when your mind is a mess, so is your environment. See, because we can also be in a clean environment and then something can happen. It's just like somebody going through grief. It's just like somebody experiencing some kind of loss or whatever, and then you notice, like, all of a sudden they're not cleaning up like they should. All of a sudden they're not dressing and holding and keeping themselves together like they used to. That's a form of depression. That's what's going on in the inside of their mind, forming on the outside, forming in their physical environment, forming in their physical appearance. And so I do just want to be mindful, and I do want you to be aware, because listen, we got to check on people too. Like, this life is not just about us. We do have to check on others. And when you notice a friend that usually, you know, you come over to their house and it's all spotless and it's clean and everything seems to be put in order, and then maybe one day you come over there and it's just like junky as ever. And I understand we as human, we have our days. Like I said, the day-to-day life duties does cause our environment to get a little cluttered. But if you notice that with a loved one, you might want to just say, like, hey, you doing okay? You know, because we do forget to ask people, like, hey, how are you doing? I feel like in a world, everybody's so focused on me, and I, and what can I get from whoever and whatever situation. But when you notice little signs like this, like, start to check on people. Hey, just checking on you. How you feeling? See, because we say, how are you doing? And it's easy to say, how are you doing to somebody? And they like, oh, girl, I'm good. Like, I'm doing good. How you doing? But when you start saying, how you feeling? What's been on your mind lately? Like, I think then you can really tap into a different part of the person. There is something that they have going on that, you know, you probably wouldn't be able to pull it out of them any kind of way. And so we have to ask those probing questions, because we do want to make sure that those that are around us and those that we love and care about are together mentally, physically, emotionally. I believe that God has put us here to be a support. The God has put us here to be a community. Like, it's so important that we have community. The enemy try to keep us isolated. Like, I know I'm a victim of that. When I go through things, I like to isolate. I like to get alone by myself. But I have found out when I get alone by myself, sometimes those evil thoughts can get the best of me, right? Sometimes it be chaos and confused right here up in my head. And so just be mindful, you know, just be mindful, because we need that community. We need that togetherness. We need people. The Bible tells us, hey, when 2 or 3 are gathered, then God is in the midst. And I don't know about y'all, but I need my folks to be asking me, hey, Mary, you doing all right? Like, yeah, I see you going forth, and I see you raising your babies, and I don't hear you complaining about nothing, but how are you feeling? You know, sometimes people just do stuff because they gotta do it. Sometimes people just get up and do stuff because they feel like, hey, if I don't do it, who else gonna do it? But to just take the time, I would say, just to care a little bit more, right? Just to care a little bit more and reach out to people and say, hey, girl, how you feeling? Hey, bro, what's up? What you got going on? What you're thinking about these days? Because this mind right here, this is the battlefield, literally. The battlefield of the mind. Joyce Myers wrote a book about it. That's an interesting book if you want to read it as well. And no, I'm not being sponsored for this. Not yet. Hey. But I will in Jesus' name. But listen, like, it's right here. This is where the battlefield is. The battlefield is in the mind. And so those thoughts start to come in. And those seeds of doubt and those seeds of discouragement and things like that. And that's how they'll creep in. And so check on your folks. Like I said, check on your people. If you know they keep themselves up to par, their hair be done, they put themselves together, and then you start seeing them and they just look like they just going through life, or that's a sign that you should be saying, hey, how you doing? Because our environment does affect our mood. And so that just allows me to circle back into this topic of how our environment does affect our mood. And so I hope this helps somebody, because I'm telling you, what's happening on the inside will show up on the outside. Let that sit in. And you might want to make that your Facebook status so that the people that you're connected to and close to and love and care about, they can read that. Because listen, what is happening on the inside, how you feel, what you have not forgiven, your heart posture, your character, all of that stuff is going to show up on the outside. And so y'all be encouraged. Be encouraged. This is a message of encouragement. I know it came in with a lot of nuggets and knowledge and things like that. But listen, it's to encourage you to say, hey, get up and clean up. If you feeling like, man, Mary, the weight of the world is on my shoulders. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what God is saying. I don't know the purpose for my life. And it just seems overwhelming, because life can be overwhelming. We are in times where it's like, man, so much stuff is going on. The cost of living is at an all-time high. So many things, and we never know what people are going through. And so you can start to save yourself today by saying, if I just put my shoes away when I come in the front door, instead of leaving them at the front door, I'm gonna take them off at the front door, because I don't like shoes on my carpet. Do y'all like shoes on y'all carpet? I don't. We don't walk on shoes through my house. But you take them from the front door and you put them in your closet. You know, when you done in the kitchen at night, make sure the kitchen is clean. So when you wake up in the morning, it's clean. Then you can think. When you preparing them kids lunch in the morning or getting your lunch ready for work in the morning, your kitchen is clean. You can think. It's not last night dishes piled up stinking and a mess in there, because that stuff deals with your mind. So I love y'all. Y'all be encouraged, be encouraged, be encouraged. Listen. If you got topics that you want me to talk about, I'm talking about all things life, overcoming, real, raw, and relevant topics. And so if it's something that you would like for me to speak on, please send me an email to maryhooks.info@gmail.com. In the subject line, please put podcast. That way I know it's for the podcast, and it just helps me sort through my email box a little more quickly. And then subscribe to the channel. I'm going to say it again, hit the notification bell, because if you don't hit the notification bell, you won't be notified, first of all, when I upload a video, and you won't know if I'm speaking on your topic or not. And so, y'all, this is a safe place. This is a place where I just want to be myself. I just want to share the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, the things that I've been through, how I overcame them, but in real life, you know, like, how did I really walk out trials and tribulations? How you can walk out trials and tribulations. I want my life to be a encouragement to you, that you can make it through, you can overcome, you can be all that God has called you to be. Like I say, you are looking at somebody, y'all, who has been through hell and back, but you are looking at somebody who continued to get up. Yes, God delivered, set me free, freed me from things, situations, circumstances, gave me new life in Him. But every day I have to decide to get back up. But every day I have to keep doing this thing. Every day I have to make the conscious decision that I'm going to be better than the Mary I was the day before. This is no competition between nobody. The competition is me against myself. I don't want to be Mary, the old Mary. I want to be the new Mary. It takes some discipline. It takes some decision making in order to be a new person. And so I want the same for you, y'all. I love y'all. Y'all be encouraged. Until next time, catch me on episode 3. Peace.